ज्ञानमयी ज्योतिर्मयी मरियं तु दयामयी मरियं तु दयामयी मरियं तु दयामयी.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Tessie Babu. Hi students, how are you all? Hope you are fine and learning through our video classes. So welcome to today's online class. Today I'm going to teach you a physics lesson. Hey Nishida, here in physics don't get frightened. Physics is my favorite subject. It's not a hard subject. I'll tell you what is the secret behind it. If you learn physics, all the concepts clearly, and you learn it systematically, then you will find that physics is very interesting and it is an easy subject. Now let me ask you a question. What do you understand by physics? Yes, Manushi, please tell me. Yes, physics is a branch of science which deals with the natural phenomenon. You know, around us there are many natural phenomena which takes place like lightning, thunder, falling of an apple, etc., etc., etc. Yes or no? Yes. There are many laws and principles behind these natural phenomena. Don't you want to learn about it? Again, when you put on your switch, your light glows or your fan moves. Don't you want to learn what is the basic principle behind this? Yes, that means all of you are ready for learning physics. So let us start with the first lesson, a basic lesson of standard 9, that is in your NCERT book, lesson number 8, describing motion. When I say motion, you all know what is the meaning of motion. What is it? Movement. Now let me ask you a question. When do you say that an object is moving? Now you look at me. Now it is 8 o'clock. Where I am standing? Here, near the left side of this board. After 1 minute, you look at me. Where I am standing? I am standing the same place. So what do you say? Am I in motion? No, I am not in motion. So I am at rest, stationary. But on the contrary, 8 o'clock, you are looking at me here. Yes, you saw me here near this side. After 2 seconds, you are looking at me. What is my position now? Here, this side. So what happened? I had continuously changed my position. As a result, now what do you say? Yes, Miss is in motion. I will teach you this concept. What do you understand by motion? With a very easy activity. All of you take your book, keep it on the left side of your palm. See, on the left palm you keep it. Now you take a pencil. Fix your pencil here on this corner side of your book. Next you take one pen. Keep your pen. See, here I am, instead of pen, I am taking a small toy car and I am going to keep it here. Now, you keep your pen there. You look at your pen. What is the position of the pen in front of this ball? That is a fixed reference point I kept. Now, so what do you say about your pen, or what do you say about my car? My car is stationary. It is at rest. But on the contrary, first when you look at the car or your pen, it is near in front of this ball. And after some time, what happens to my car? You see, what happened to my car? It has changed its position with respect to this reference point, that is the pole. I hope you also did together with me this activity with your pen. Yes or no? So you understood what is meant by motion. Two important words we are getting from this. Which are that? One is position change. Second is with respect to what? With respect to a reference point. So what is the definition of motion? When an object is changing its position continuously with respect to a reference point, we say that the object is in motion. Otherwise, the object is at rest. Now you see here, our Manav is standing in front of his house, that is at 8 o'clock. After 10 minutes, I am watching what is his position. He is at this position, that is, he has almost covered 1 kilometer. Again after 10 minutes, I am seeing what is his position. He has again covered 1 kilometer and his position is here. So at 8:30, what is his position? He is here. So you understood, with respect to this fixed point, that is our fixed point is this house, our Manav is continuously changing his position. So what do we say about Manav? Manav is in motion. Is it clear to all of you? Yes. When we are coming to motion, we have to learn different new terms. Our first term is a physical quantity. What do you understand by a quantity? Yes, come on, tell me. Quantity means how much? Yes or no? So, which all things we are measuring, which we are able to measure, such all physical quantities, such all quantities we say that physical quantities. See, I take this pen. What is the length of this pen? Can I measure? Yes. Therefore, what happened? Length is a physical quantity. Now, my height. Can I measure my height? Yes. So, height is a physical quantity. Now, give me a few more examples of such physical quantities. Speed, distance, displacement, acceleration, mass, weight, density. Yes, there are so many physical quantities. These physical quantities we can divide into two groups. Can you say which are they? No, you will not say, I am sure, because these terms are new for you. So I will tell you which are the two types of physical quantities. They are, first one is scalars and second is vectors. So scalars and vectors are the two types of physical quantities. Now you ask me, Miss, what do you understand by the scalar? We are not understanding. Don't worry, I will tell you. Any physical quantity which can be expressed only by using its magnitude, that is called a scalar quantity. Now you are not understanding magnitude. Yes or no, Dharmik? Yes. I will explain. I take my pen. Can I measure the length of this pen? Yes. This will be 10 centimeter. So what will I write? I write L is equal to 10 centimeter. See now, when I write L is equal to 10 centimeter, that is the magnitude of this. That is, the magnitude of length is 10 centimeter. Now, which are the other quantities which comes under this category? That is distance, height, mass of this pen. How much it might be? 100 grams. So, it is a scalar quantity. Then density, area, volume. See, if I take this book, I can measure its length, I can measure its breadth. Can I calculate its area? Yes, definitely. So, length into breadth, I will get area. So, what type of quantity is area? It is a scalar quantities. So, I hope you understood what is a scalar quantity. Any physical quantity which can be expressed only by using its magnitude. That is called a scalar quantity. Examples for scalar quantities are mass, distance, length, weight, height, density, etc. Now, there is a question. How can we represent a scalar quantity? See, here I have written L is equal to 10 centimeter. In order to represent length, I just wrote L, only L. L is equal to 10 centimeter. If I want to represent speed of my car, what I will write? Suppose I use V for speed. Then what will I write? V is equal to 40 kilometer per hour. Yes or no? Yes. So, speed is a scalar quantity. I can simply represent it by using the letter which I use to represent it. Is it clear? Now next question. How can I add two scalar quantities? I take again my book. I measure the length. Yes, how much it is? 10 centimeter. Again I measure the breadth of this book. How much it is? 8 centimeter. Now I ask you the question. What is the total length and breadth of this book? Yes, come on, please tell me. Keshav, 10 plus 8, 18 centimeter. All of you know how to do that. That means two scalar, both length and breadth are scalar quantities. Two scalar quantities I can add or I can subtract by using simple arithmetics. Yes or no? So, that is about scalar quantities. Now, we will come to the next type of quantities, that are vector quantities. What are vector quantities? Vector quantities are those quantities which has got both magnitude as well as direction. Again getting confused. What is this direction? You understood only magnitude. Yes or no? Yes. Magnitude you understood. Now, I will tell you what is the meaning of direction. For example, I have this book. Yes, I want to apply some force on this book in order to open it. Yes or no? Yes. I need how much force to apply on this to open it? Suppose it is 5 Newton force. So, how I will apply that 5 Newton force? See, like this. So, in which direction I applied my 5 Newton force to open it? This is the direction. Suppose now I want to close the book. Again I have to apply how much force? 5 Newton force. But in which direction I apply the force? This direction. So, is it clear? I have told you about the quantity force. When I spoke the quantity force, I have told you 5 Newton force I have to apply to open this book. Did you see the direction? This direction is towards me. I keep, this is the direction in which I have applied the force to open this book. But when I am closing the book, in the opposite direction I am applying the force. So what happened? If I mention in which direction the force is applied, you can understand it clearly. Otherwise, I say that 5 Newton force I applied. You will not understand that in which direction I have applied the force. Can you understand? No. Suppose, see, I am giving this book to Manav. Manav is applying a force of 10 Newton in this direction. Then I call Keshav, you apply some force on this book, I keep like this. Keshav will apply 20 Newton force, but in which direction? This direction. Do you think that now direction is important for understanding the quantity? Force, yes. So, force is what type of quantity? Vector quantity, which requires both magnitude as well as direction. Can you give some more examples of vector quantities which we are facing, we are using that quantities in our daily life? Yes, come on, tell me. Velocity, right. It is a vector quantity. It requires both magnitude and direction. Again, displacement, it is a vector quantity. So, force, velocity, displacement. Then, any other quantities you know? Acceleration. How can we forget about acceleration? Yes or no? You all are riding your cycle. You want to accelerate it. So, acceleration is a vector quantity. Now the question, how will we represent a vector quantity? Can we represent the same way like this? No. Suppose I want to represent velocity. How I will represent? I will represent like this. Velocity V is equal to 10 kilometer per hour. What is the difference here and here you saw? Here I wrote only V, but when I wrote here, that is velocity. What did I do? I put an arrow mark. So you got the idea. What is the idea? In order to write a vector quantity, what should we do? We should put an arrow mark above the letter which we use to represent. So all vector quantities we will represent by writing the letter which is used to denote that quantity, and we will put an arrow mark over it. Is it clear how to do it? Yes or no? Now, last thing I want to ask you a question. Suppose I had given you many examples, yes, that is of force. Now, suppose I am applying a force of 5 Newton in this direction. This way I keep. So 4 Newton force I apply like this. 3 Newton force I apply like this. Did you see the direction? I am going to apply 4 Newton force in this direction. I am going to apply 3 Newton force in this direction. Now, can any one of you give me what is the total force I have applied? Yes, come on. Someone is telling 4 plus 3, 7 Newton. No, your answer is wrong. Why? Because we are now dealing with force. What type of quantity is force? It is a vector quantity. Just like our length and breadth we have added, the same method, we cannot add these two vector quantities. Then how can we add it? For adding two vector quantities, we have to learn a new technique that is called vector algebra. Don't worry, I am not going to teach you vector algebra now, don't get frightened. That you will study in 11th standard. So, vector quantities we can add or subtract only by using vector algebra. Is it clear now what are vector quantities? How can we represent it? Examples for vector quantities, and how can we add or subtract two vector quantities. So, for today what we have learned? We have learned the terms, what is motion, what is the state of rest, again what are physical quantities, which are the two types of physical quantities, that is scalars and vectors, and we have seen what are the differences between these scalars and vectors. I hope that you have understood the topic. So, thank you all. You learn it. Remaining we will see in the next class.